Hi Sagar, how are you?
Yeah, I am fine, sir. What about you?
I'm good too, thank you. So can you tell us something about yourself?
Sir, my name is Sagar Wade. I am from Pune. I completed my engineering in Amravati University. After that, I joined Easiest Solution Organization, and now I am working in Easiest Solution as a software test engineer. And
Mm,
since 2 years of my total experience, and last year I am working with the Selenium. And during 2 years of my career, I work on Agile Scrum methodology, and my roles and responsibilities is to understand the BRS document, then test scenarios, and then convert into test cases, then execution of those test cases, then defect logging and reporting. That's all
mhm.
about it.
Okay, so do you do automation testing also?
Yes, sir. Before I work on automation framework.
Okay,
Now I'm working manual.
okay. So can you tell us something about the automation framework that you have worked on?
Yeah, okay, sir. My automation framework is actually already created, and I am working on that framework. I will create some batch files, utilities,
Mm,
and in our framework using the hybrid framework, using page object model design pattern. And
mm,
in this page object model, I will create some classes, those having the functionalities and web element. Then we use the TestNG framework for the purpose of grouping assertions.
mm.
Then maintain our test case, and again use the Maven build version for the
Okay.
purpose of our execution, smooth execution. Or
Mm,
again, those are installed. Then again the failed test case screenshot capture and
mm.
store in separate folder by using TestNG listener. And
Okay,
again, there is test output folder.
mm.
Those are keeping the all result, like all test cases pass, fail, or skip.
Okay. So how do you trigger your automation? How do you run your automation?
Yes, sir. Run automation.
Mhm.
That means automation test case.
Yeah, yeah. Let's say if some test case is to be is to be run at night on nightly basis, 11 p.m. every night. So how will you run that automation?
Yes, sir. My senior use Jenkins tools to
Hmm.
automate the test cases for night.
Mm-hmm. So do you have
Jenkins.
idea about Jenkins?
No, sir.
No. So in the real-time interview question, you might be asked like how the automation is getting triggered. So in that particular case, you have to answer it has been deployed via CI/CD. So in CI/CD integration is done. It can be a Jenkins tool. It can be any other tool. And how it has been triggered is you might would have created a pipeline in Jenkins. And there will be various stages in the pipeline. First will be getting all the code from the Git. Second will be downloading all the development code. Third will be setting up the application under the automation. Fourth will be running your automation. Fifth will be updating your test. Sixth will be sending the report to everyone. So this is how you can explain, right, how the Jenkins is working or any other
Yes,
CI/CD tool that you are comfortable with, right? Because this will be asked to you.
yes, I understand, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Now, how will you handle pop-up in Selenium?
Yeah, pop-up handle using the alert interface, sir.
Mm-hmm.
There, suppose
So,
suppose
yeah.
our web page alert handle. That
Mm,
time I use the alert equals
mm,
to driver switch to alert, and then alert dot. Suppose I want to accept, then accept method. I want to dismiss, then accept dot dismiss method.
mm, mm.
And
Okay.
the yes.
So, what is the difference between accept and dismiss?
Yeah, accept that means suppose I want to allow the microphone's camera.
Mm,
That means the accept with the permission, accept. And suppose I do not the permission of my camera or those things, then dismiss.
mm.
That means dismiss is the cancel button, and
Mm.
accept is the OK button.
Okay. Is it possible to uh, get the text from that pop-up message which has been displayed?
Yes, possible, sir.
Mm. So, how can we get that text message?
Text message, sir.
Hmm.
Get text method, using get text method.
Uh,
Is possible,
okay.
sir?
Uh,
Alert dot get.
yes. So driver dot switch to dot alert dot get text. And if similarly you can be asked question on send text, sorry, send keys, then it is driver dot switch to dot alert dot send keys, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's how you can tell. Okay, now let me share my screen. I'll give you one Selenium scenario. So
Yes.
you are aware you are using Java, right?
Yes.
Okay, just give me a second. Yeah, is my screen visible now?
Yes, sir. Visible, sir.
Okay. Now, I have written this particular script, okay, this particular automation script, but I'm getting element not found exception. So how can we resolve this error?
Element not found exception. Yeah. Okay, sir.
Hmm.
In that situation, sir, suppose our element of by dot xpath find element.
Hmm.
Those elements are present in suppose in inside the frame that time
Hmm.
give the exception of this exception.
Okay, so we are getting this exception. Now, is there any way to get this exception resolved? How will you, what will you do? Change. So there are some changes that are to be made in the script so that this exception element not found exception does not comes.
That means suppose sir, sometime the duplicate of our locators,
Hmm.
that case also
Okay,
the
so you
element
mean to
not.
say the locator which you have used over here might be having some that might not be a unique one.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Any other answer?
Any other? Suppose, sir, in our web page
Hmm.
present multiple web element. That time find element method return the first. No, sir. Not. I'm not sure, sir.
Okay, so I'll give you. See, what we have used is we have used find element and timeouts over here, right? Find element we have used, then timeout we have used, right? So instead of this, we could use some waits for or until for the element to be present and then do the operation. Once the wait is there, the element is located, then we can perform the action. You can perform some clicking or whatever you have to do action item, right?
Yes.
So
That
we
means,
are,
sir, you say use explicit wait.
yes. Yes. So what we can do is see this try catch, we are getting the exception, right? So what we can do is inside try, wait for the element to be present, then use if, then else. So we'll use conditional statement if it is present. If it is present, then return true or else false. And then inside catch, handle the error, right? So this is how we can do. So this will be the approach. Now in this approach, what is happening? Every time this particular guy is throwing an exception. So instead of that, it would be better to wait for the element to be present, then use if condition first. If the element is present, then return true or false. It will handle the error with the catch. Is this clear?
Yeah, clear, sir.
Okay, great. Okay. Okay. Okay, now what is the difference between final, finally, and finalize?
Yeah, finally is a keyword, sir.
Hmm.
And again, finally is a block,
Hmm.
and finalize it is method.
Okay, what else? So this is the definition that you have given, right? About final, finally, and finalize. What else?
Yes, sir, but I'm not get copy.
Okay, okay. So one feedback is you will have to be very well prepared with the Java thing because you have done automation. So now these days the demand of automation is more. So you will be asked Java based, Selenium based questions so that they can have you in the project of automation. They can keep you in the project of automation, right? Now, what is the difference between final, finally, and finalize? So final is the keyword which you mentioned it rightly. Finally is the block in Java, right? Finalize is the method in Java. Now, final keyword is applicable to classes, methods, and variables. Finally block is always related to the try and catch block in exception handling, right? Then finalize method is used for the objects, right? So once you declare the variable as final, the variable becomes constant. It cannot be modified, right? The finally block will run the important code even if the exception occurs or not, right? So finally is the super thing above exception. Then finalize method will perform the cleaning activities with respect to the object before its destruction. Simple. So this is the difference between final, finally, and finalize. Is it clear now?
Yeah, clear, sir.
Okay. Which are the testing techniques that you are using to write the test cases?
Yeah, boundary value analysis and then equivalence class partitioning. Those
Okay.
techniques.
Great. Uh, Let me give you one scenario-based question. You are aware about Agile, right?
Yes, sir.
Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir. Visible, sir.
Okay. Now, you had sprint A, in that you had two user stories.
Okay,
Okay.
sir.
So both the stories were signed off successfully from your side. Now, sprint B has started. And in sprint B, again, you get two new user stories, right? So let's say over here, user stories were A, comma, B. Here, user stories are C, comma, D. Okay, these are new user stories that you have got. Now, when you were testing this particular user stories, you came to know that they have a bug. There is a bug you found while testing this user story, which is actually related to story B, which you have already signed on in the last sprint. And it is with the client. It is in the production environment, right? Now, what will you do?
And also, sir, our software is in production.
So it's an agile methodology, but whichever stories are being signed off from your side, you demo it to the stakeholder. The stakeholder will give will give an approval, and then those stories will be live.
Yes, sir. In that case, sir, When I raised the bug, that time I first log those bugs in our defect management tool.
So you will log the defect in the defect management tool.
Yes, sir.
Okay, what else will you
And
do? Hmm.
and communicate with developer to
Mhm.
fix those defects as soon as possible immediately. Then also I can say to my test lead also. Then find the root cause of that defect. And suppose when and again communicate with the client to share the root cause of that RC report, share to the RC report of that bug.
Don't you think when you will approach client with the RCA report, the client will ask you the question, why was it not found earlier? Then what will you do?
That case I communicate with developer and
Hmm.
as soon as possible fix those defects.
Hmm. See, um, the one good thing that has happened over here that you have found the defect. It has been found late. That is the issue, but at least you have found the defect. The good thing will be that is to keep transparency with the client, to keep transparency with the customer. You tell them upfront that we have found this defect today, which is impacting the already released user story, and you would also like to get it fixed, and you would also test it and deploy it as soon as possible because you don't want them to get suffered because of this issue, right?
Yes.
So that kind of transparency is required. If you go and straightforward, if you tell that this was a miss, we'll get it fixed, so that will not have any impact on them, right? But you will have to make them understand the whole point behind this particular thing, right? That the defect is there, and it is possible that you might get this defect or your customers might face this defect. So maybe then what you can do is you can ask them for the deployment approval, right? That is what you
Yes.
can do, correct?
And sir, when fix the defect, that time perform also regression testing in case.
Yes, so you will test that particular thing, right? Okay, now let's come to the another scenario. Sprint A, you had two user stories, A and B got sign off. Sprint B, you have two new user stories, which you are testing in production, right? Now, meanwhile, when you are testing Sprint C and Sprint D, client found issue in user story A, which was already signed off from your side, right? Now, what will you do? They have found the issue. Now they are asking for root cause analysis. They are asking why
Yeah.
you haven't found this issue. Then what will you do?
In that situation, first of all, I check my all test cases.
Hmm.
That means all the test data for my test case related. While that means our mistake while execution or those are check. If suppose no any mistake, then I will to share all the test data and explore of that bug and explore of that bug and mm, and say to why the occur bug in production.
Hmm.
That means explore of those bug. That means again find the root cause of that bug and explain why occur those bug.
Right, right. So that will be done. Also, you will add his test scenario into your test case cycle so that in future it is not missed. It is being tracked, right?
Yes.
Okay, so this is fine. Okay, now in an e-commerce based website like Amazon, Flipkart, Walmart, you would have seen the add to cart functionality, right? In which we add the products to the cart which we want to purchase, right? So can you tell me the negative test scenarios for add to cart functionality, the shopping
Add
cart or add to cart functionality?
to cart functionality, yeah. Verify that user should able to not accept the negative quantity, sir. That means quantity number is negative.
So quantity number, let's say if you select shirt, if you select two shirts, so automatically the quantity number would be auto displayed as 2. You cannot make it as negative, right?
Yes.
So that scenario, it might happen that you might have seen some UI UX website on which you are entering the numbers, but mostly I think when you select the items, automatically the count is displayed over there. So it cannot be negative.
Yes, that means again quantity is zero,
Yeah,
not set quantity.
yeah. Then
Then again suppose user want to add blue color shirt, that time do not add any other color shirt in cart. That means do not
okay.
then again negative. Yeah, user cannot user cannot proceed without payment option to suppose add to card. Suppose any one item added to the card, that time user show the payment option. Directly do not see the order button, place order button.
Okay, what else?
Then verify again the before place order, verify the again address would be uh, right mention.
Mm-hmm.
Negative test scenarios.
Do you want me to help you out?
Yes, sir. I am not sure. Negative scenarios I don't identify.
Okay, see, whenever you remove all the items from the cart, so the first scenario that you mentioned, when a user removes all the items from the cart, nothing should be displayed and the total price should equal 0. Now, let's say you have opened the website in one of the browser, in one of the tab, and you close that particular tab with a shopping cart, and you had added, for example, 2 items in the cart. You just close that particular tab. Then again, you open that tab. The items should remain in the cart. It should not happen that they get closed, right? Then let's say you had added 3 items into the cart, and then you wait for some time. Don't do any action on that website. So such that the session should get expired, right? Then you see the items should be there in the cart, right? Then let's say you do concurrent testing. You open 2 browsers, browser A and browser B. So let's say in Google Chrome browser, you are adding the item into the cart, and at the same time in browser, in Firefox browser, that product which you are trying to add is you are adding it into the another user account, and there is only one count of that product left. So together you do that perform that operation and then see what is happening, right? Then check if there is only one product item, right? So now what was happening, you are trying to access from 2 different browsers. Now you remove that particular product from the cart and you add the product. So actually in the cart, the items are not there because it has been already been sold out. But you have clicked on that. So then what happens? That is again a negative test case,
Yes, sir.
right? So this is how you can test add to cart functionality with negative testing.
Yeah, then again, I check the performance of when adding the suppose requirement is only 10 quantity purchase. That time adding more than 10 and check the performance of our application.
Correct, absolutely. Okay, so
The
this
speed
is how
of
you,
processing those things,
yes. So this is how you can test.
negative testing.
Yeah. Now coming to the next question. How do you keep yourself upgraded? Let's say if any new tool or technology has launched in the market, how will you keep yourself upgraded with respect to that tool?
No, sir, I am not understand question.
So I mean, let's say if any new tool like Selectors Hub or Testing Daily has come up in the market, so how will you make sure that you get an idea about those tools, you get an idea about these kind of innovations that are being done in the field of testing?
Yeah, then I will try to explore those tools.
Yes, so you
And
can explore those things maybe via LinkedIn or maybe by watching some YouTube channels, you will get an idea, right? So that's how you have to tell. Okay. Okay, Sagar, I am done with the interview. Do you have any questions for me?
No, sir, because I am just entry level experience and I am learning new things.
Mm-hmm.
Selenium automation testing those.
Right. So this is good. And you have to practice
Yes, sir.
Java programming questions, and this kind of scenario-based questions would be asked.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much, Sagar. Nice
Yeah,
talking
thank
to
you.
you, and all the best for
Yeah.
your career.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.